Hello there, this is Cody the Coin Raptor, and in today's video, I have some very important topics to talk about. I actually think that today's video is possibly one of the most important videos that I've put out on this channel. Now, I want to go ahead and start by saying thank you to everybody who subscribed. I hit 200 subscribers, and that's just fantastic. I really appreciate it. Now, if you guys are interested in following me on Twitter for the most up-to-date information, definitely recommend you do that, and also be sure to hit that like and that subscribe button if you appreciate this content and would like to see more. Okay, so the first thing I want to go ahead and talk about is my Bitcoin buy on Monday. So right here is about kind of where I pulled the trigger on that. I posted on Twitter that I decided to go ahead and add to my position size, a very small position size here at about 25,700. And what we have here is, if you take a look at the charts, you can kind of see my thought process. So if you look at our RSI at that point was almost down to about 13. It was very low. And again, remember that anything below 30 is considered oversold. And if you take a look at these RSI indicators on TradingView, you can see that now they're kind of colored in this red color that indicates extreme selling. So I took advantage of this opportunity. I saw the huge red candles here for volume, indicating that you have a huge number of sellers. Usually after you have a massive number of sellers step into the market and some selling volume, that is normally an area that I would consider stepping in. And I did step in here, bought a small position size. And my whole idea behind buying the small position size is that I would continue to add if it moved closer to 25K. Now, it just so happens that it actually moved up for the rest of the day, kind of moved sideways a little bit, and then we saw another retest of this support here at about 25,300. This was on the news that Coinbase has been charged by the SEC, which is something I'm going to talk about next. But Coinbase charged by the SEC, that also caused what we call like a double bottom here, and then we saw a pretty strong rally throughout the rest of the day. Now it's kind of come down here, and it's in between both the resistance here at 27,300 and the support here at about 25,300. So it's about a $2,000 sideways channel that we have here for Bitcoin. Now, my goal here in making these purchases is to hold Bitcoin for the long term. That's my goal. I buy Bitcoin to hold for the long term, but I try to make my buys as efficient as possible in trying to get the best possible price. And if Bitcoin continues to go down from here, which I think there's a good possibility that we'll see that, I will continue to add to my position size, and I will post it on Twitter when I make those buys. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about what the SEC has been up to lately. So the SEC also filed a motion here to freeze Binance US's assets. Okay, so they're saying they're ensuring the Binance US customers' assets are protected and remain in the United States throughout the resolution of the SEC's pending litigation of this matter. Now, from my understanding of the matter, the SEC is trying to prevent CZ and Binance from moving any assets out of Binance US to other areas, to other accounts and things like that. So that's the reason why they're trying to freeze these assets. Now, I don't think that this is going to cause a complete a similar situation to what we saw to like Celsius and FTX, where those assets are completely gone and customers aren't able to withdraw. It seems like they're just trying to prevent Binance from controlling those assets. But this is one more step that the SEC is taking in order to really stick it to Binance and especially Binance US, based on what they see is a number of violations in securities laws. Now, the SEC also came out yesterday with a press release that said they were going to be charging Coinbase as well for the sale of unregistered securities as well as staking. Now, this is a little bit different than Binance's, because this seems to be solely focused on what's a security and what's not a security, whereas Binance seems to be more focused on not just security sale, but also they're charging CZ and the larger Binance community that BAM trading with basically insider trading and fraudulent activity. So they're charging them with that. But this seems to be more focused on what's a security and what's not a security. So they've said that at least since 2019, Coinbase has made billions of dollars unlawfully facilitating the buying and selling of crypto asset securities, okay? So we'll see how this will proceed. However, I want to go ahead and just give my own thoughts and opinions on the matter. And I do think that Coinbase is going to be fine. I'm not concerned about Coinbase at all, especially when it comes to what's a security and what's not a security, because the SEC has basically come out and they've said that Bitcoin and Ethereum essentially aren't securities and they're commodities in a sense. And so those aren't things that I'm concerned about, not to mention the fact that Coinbase is a public company, and as such, they have to abide by certain rules and regulations that public companies have to abide by, whereas Binance is a private company, and they do not. Now, I'm also not particularly concerned about Binance as well. It's entirely possible that Binance and Coinbase will have to wind up paying a fine, but we'll have to see how that works out, and they might restrict some more of the assets and what Binance US is actually capable of doing in the US. So I think that's entirely very possible. Now, this whole wider, I guess you could say, ongoing fight with the crypto industry that the SEC is waging, this will set back crypto adoption. I have no doubt that it will, but it will not kill crypto, okay? Bitcoin's not going to be killed by this. Ethereum's not going to be killed by this because they're decentralized and no one government will be able to completely ban them. And I would say that so far, it doesn't even look like we're even getting that. So I personally am not concerned about these SEC actions against either company. And I do think that we'll wind up coming out through this and everything will be better off for it. And especially if Binance and Coinbase actually win these cases, okay? If they actually win these cases, that's insanely bullish, and it makes it much harder for the SEC to actually go after these companies. So I also want to go ahead and talk about what happened right Monday and Tuesday. So we saw that double bottom play out here in the Bitcoin price. But if we take a look at our Bitcoin liquidations, we can see that we had a massive number of Bitcoin long liquidations, over $100 million of Bitcoin long liquidations on the 4th of June alone. Now, this has been the highest number going all the way back to March, and the highest number of Bitcoin long liquidations. Now, what's interesting about this is just kind of like what I talk about when I'm thinking about my buys. Seeing so many longs liquidated means that there's just not a lot of longs left to be liquidated at that point. And so the risk that it'll go lower is just less than it would be if we hadn't seen so many long liquidations happen. Now, if we actually take a look at our funding rate, we can kind of see what that looks like in a chart format. And so what we have here is, again, this is basically the premium that longs pay to shorts or shorts pay to longs in order to maintain their position in perpetual contracts. And what we're seeing here is that during that huge dip down here between Monday and Tuesday, we actually saw the shorts take over. Okay, so the shorts took over here at about the 6th of June. They took over. We had more shorts than longs, and shorts were paying a premium to maintain their position. And then it flipped very quickly, and the longs regained momentum. That's why you saw this big move up here, at least in the derivatives market. That's what seems to have happened. Now, if we actually take a look at our open interest, which shows us the totality of all the contracts that are open, again, for derivatives, what we're seeing here is a huge drop-off in the number of contracts that are opened. And so what this means to me right now is that we had a huge number of contracts getting opened here at about this point here at the 6th of June. We saw a huge number of liquidations happen, and the price moved lower as well. So it seems like there were quite a few either shorts or longs that were liquidated at this point, and then we're seeing less of this aggregated open interest, and it seems like we've actually hit a new low going all the way back to May 10th. So there's less of these contracts currently in effect right now, and it seems like that's kind of also provided less volatility for the current price. Now, I also want to go ahead and talk about the NVT Golden Cross, because this is an incredibly important indicator that I like to use to find Bitcoin bottoms. And what we're seeing here right now is that the Bitcoin bottom has actually happened according to the NVT Golden Cross, and it's firmly in this green zone here. Now, it could actually drop a little bit further than that. We've actually seen it go a little bit lower, like during the June of 2022, that massive liquidation event, it actually went a little bit lower. But generally speaking, it looks like it's already pretty far into the green zone, which means that we're close to a bottom if we haven't already hit the bottom. And so if you overlay this with the price, you can see that it kind of lines up pretty nicely with this. Definitely recommend you guys check this out. Bitcoin NVT Golden Cross. This is a pretty useful indicator in knowing if we've hit the tops or the local tops or the local bottoms. Now, also, I want to talk about exchange reserve as well. Now, this is really important here because we talk about the fact that Binance was charged and Coinbase was charged as well. And so what you're starting to see from the community is that they're pulling massive amounts of Bitcoin off the exchanges. And that shouldn't surprise anybody given the fact that there's a lot of FUD being spread through the social media and all over the place. And so people are taking their money off the exchanges, which rightly they should do. Okay, you definitely should take your crypto off the exchanges and self-custody them. But we're seeing this trend accelerate over just the last couple of days. And again, because the SEC has charged both these companies. All right, so that's particularly important. I also want to go ahead and talk about our Ethereum chart TA as well. Now, Ethereum, we have the two levels of support previously that I've laid out here. The support here, 1835. Now, it blasted through this previously as resistance, now as support. Now it went right through it again as support, and now it is back to resistance. So we go ahead and change this to our red resistance color. Now we have support down here at about 1774. That's where I would expect that the Ethereum will find solid support because every time it's come down here or even close, it's gotten bought up pretty fast. Now, again, I'm very interested in buying and adding to my Ethereum position, but under 1800, especially here at the maybe 1770, 1750 level, that's when I'd be very interested in adding to my Ethereum position. It just does not spend very much time down here at all, and it's held this support level all the way back to March when it's held this whole support level. So I think the support has been very strong. Now, we're also going to go ahead and cover Binance Coin. Binance Coin has been the biggest loser out of all the coins, and especially I like to do the top 3 coins that are weighted by market cap. But Binance Coin has been the biggest loser, and it's down all the way here to about almost 250. Right now it's at 260, but it went all the way down to 250. And this right now is showing so oversold. It's at about 22 RSI, and it's showing majorly oversold. In fact, if we look all the way back and go all the way back to June, we're starting to see that RSI is on par with the massive June collapse that we saw last year, a year ago, during the Terra Luna and Celsius disaster. It's at that level of being oversold for Binance Coin. So I'm not interested in adding my Binance Coin position, but if I was, this would be a pretty attractive position for me to enter. I'm just not entirely sure about Binance Coin. I got to do some more research on it, some more due diligence, but it is incredibly oversold right now. And that's not saying it can't go lower, though. I mean, just because it's oversold, it doesn't mean it can't go lower. But I would expect that the 250, this 254 level, this will hold. And if it doesn't hold, then you're looking at it coming down here to 230. Now, that's a level, again, we haven't seen since December if it goes all the way down there to that point. Okay, so that's all I've got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about these SEC charges that happened with Coinbase and with Binance. If you guys think this is government overreach, or you think that the crypto industry is at serious disaster, or if you think that there's huge concern about crypto just being regulated out of existence, I'm interested in hearing about that. If you guys are interested in buying Bitcoin, if you bought Bitcoin, I'm definitely interested in hearing about that as well. Just let me know. And if you guys want the most up-to-date information, be sure to follow me on Twitter, and be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. This is Cody the Coin Raptor, signing out.